In mathematics, a matrix is a rectangular arrangement of numbers, figures, or expressions arranged in rows and columns. Matrices are usually written in square brackets. In a matrix, the horizontal and vertical lines of entries are rows and columns. The size of a matrix is determined by the numbers of rows and columns it holds.
Questions 1. A hardware shop sells two types of cement, type 1 and type 2. On a certain day, 3 packs of type 1 and 2 packs of type 2 were sold. On the next day, 5 of type 1 and 4 of type 2 were sold. Total sold for 2 days were Rn 510 and Rn 930 respectively. Number 1. Show the above information in form of metric equation. Number 2. Hence, by using metric inversion method, find the selling price for each type of cement. I will explain how to calculate the value of x and y for the following system of linear equations. The solution is 3x plus 2y equal Rn 510, then 5x plus 4y equal Rn 930. Then we need to arrange in the metric form as a x equal b to find determinants, and by using the formula AD minus BC is 3 multiply 4 minus 2 multiply 5. At the same time, to find adjoint A, we need to interchange 3 and 4. 2 interchange to negative 2 and 5 change to negative 5. Then 12 minus 10 get 2, so the determinant is 1 over 2. Next, we move on to find A inverse. Besides that, we need to do the multiply. 4 multiply 510 plus negative 2 multiply 930. Next, negative 5 multiply 510 plus 3 multiply 930. Then we will get 2040 plus negative 1060 and negative 2550 plus 2790. So we will get 180 and 240. Then multiply 1 over 2 by 180 to find the answer x, and 1 over 2 by 240 to find the answer y. So the final answer for x is 90 and 120 for y.
Question 2. The question is use the Cramer's rule method to solve the following simultaneous linear equation. At the first line is 2x plus 3y negative z equal 1. At the second line is 3x plus 5y plus 2z equal 8. At the third line is x negative 2y negative 3z equal negative 1. So first, you guys must to know how to change this question to the form metric. A form metric have a formula Cramer's rule. In this question, we use equation in the form ax equal b. The meaning here, we have to find a position ax equal b. In this question, we put number 2x plus 3y negative z. We put the number only, and we put at the first bracket is a. So in the first bracket, that a, b, c represent a, while in the second bracket, x, y, and z represent x, and the third bracket d represent b. How we know a, x equal b? So in this question, number of first bracket is 2, 3, negative 1, 3, 5, 2, 1, negative 2, negative 3. And the second bracket, x, y, and z. And the last bracket is 1, h, negative 1. After we get a metric form, so we have to get a determinant D. How we want to get determinant D? So, the first bracket we use to find determinant D. In this bracket, we have to know position for row and column. At bracket, the number row is extending to the side and the column is extending to down. So, in this bracket, the number of row is 2, 3, -1 and the column 2, 3, 1. We reduce the number in a bracket 2 by 2. In this question, number 2 we put in front bracket 1, so we close the number 2 row 1 and column 1. So that we get the number 5 to -2 -3 in first bracket and the second bracket 3. In number 3, we close number 3, row 1, column 2, and we get 3, 2, 1, -3 in second bracket. In the third bracket, -1. So we put -1 because negative plus equal negative. So that we put -1. In the third bracket, we close the -1, row 1 and column 3, and we get 3, 5, 1, -2. So next step, we put number 2 in down and the column we put -15, -4. Why we get -15, -4? In bracket 5 multiply -3 equal -15. 2 multiply -2 equal -4. Why in middle have negative? Because in this column we have to put negative in middle so that we get this number. At the column 2, we put -3 down, and in this column we get -9, -2. So we put 3 multiply -3, we get -9, and number 2 multiply 1, we get 2, and the middle is negative. So for the column 3, we put -1 in front column, and the number -6, -5. So in the bracket 3 multiply -2, we get -6. 5 multiply 1, we get 5. So in the middle is negative. So after we get this number, all the number, we can use calculator, and we get the answer number is 22. After we get the determinant 22, we have to get a determinant x. How we get to determinant x? We get the determinant x in the same way for determinant d. So we reduce this number, but the first column we change and we put number 1, 8, -1 represent for b. We put in front the number, and we use the same way. So we repeat the way. We put 1 in front column, and we close 1, row 1 and column 1. So we get 5 to -2, -3. In the second column, we put -3 because in the formula negative, because C12. So C12 is a odd number, so we put -3. And the second column is we close the number 3 is row 1 and column 2, and we get h2, -1, -3. And the last column, we put -1. In the column, in the bracket is, we close -1, row 1 and column 3, and we get h5, -1, -2. After we get this bracket, we put 1 in the column -15, -4, because 5 multiply -3, 2 multiply -2, and we get this number. And we repeat the number the same way. So after we get all this number, we can put in a calculator and we get the answer for determinant x. After we get the determinant x, we can get determinant y, determinant z. So how we get all this number? We use the same way, okay? But for the determinant y, the second column we change. We put a number 1 h -1 because this represent for b. So we put 1 h -1, and we solution is equation is the same way. And for the determinant z, we put a column 3. We change. We put 1 h -1 in the third column. So we can get the number and we can get the answer. After we get all determinant, we can the last step, we have to divide the determinant. So first, determinant x divide d equal the answer. So dx is 16 divide 22 equal 3. And for dy divide d. So dy is -22 divide 22 equal -1. For the dz divide d. So dz is 44 divide 22 equal 2. So we get the all number and we put for the last we put x equal 3, y equal -1, z equal 2.
In a conclusion, there's two methods that use in solving matrix equations, such as inversion method and Cramer's rule method, which is Cramer's rule that apply to solve a system of equation. In this method, the value of the variable in system are to be calculated using the determinant of matrix, and also known as determinant method. For the inversion method, it can be defined collection of objects arranged in row and column of an element of the matrix. The order of a matrix can be written as number row by number of column.